Dice Horde is a tower defense roll and write game released in an accessible print and play format that requires no cutting. Just print 2 pages, grab a handful of components, and you're ready to play. Your goal is to survive a set number of rounds. If at any point the gate to your kingdom is destroyed, you lose. Game setup. To play, you need the tower sheet, the ruler sheet, or the demo version where we combine them into one. You'll find the link to the files in the description. Prepare 3 sets of 4 dice in different colors to create the enemy pool, plus 1 die to track the round. You can color the indicated spaces on the tower and the ruler sheets to make it easier to distinguish the different dice types. Grab something to write with and let's head into battle! Quick game overview. Each round follows a specific sequence. First, you mark the round and place the indicated dice on the horizon. Next, you roll the round tracking die to choose the segments with the available actions. That segment is divided into 4 steps. First, the dice take their actions. Then you choose either the top or bottom set of actions and resolve them in any order. After that, your main tower attacks. And finally, the ruler actions, where you can activate additional towers, place more traps and barricades, and even cast powerful spells. Now we'll go through all of this in detail. Dice appearing on the horizon. Mark the appropriate round. Then move the indicated dice onto the tower sheet, placing them next to the corresponding flags and setting their values to those indicated by the current round. They have just appeared on the horizon and are heading your way. Note: if new dice of a given type would appear on the horizon but their pool is empty, all dice of that type currently in play heal. If a die already has the maximum value, which is 6, it moves 1 segment forward instead. In some rounds, no new dice appear on the horizon, but dice already in play may still perform other actions such as movement. Rolling to determine the round segment. Each round you roll the 13th die. Then mark the drawn segment on the tower sheet by placing the die on the segment and writing down the current round number. In the first round, count the segments in order, starting from the top left segment. In subsequent rounds, you begin counting from the segment selected in the previous round. If you reach the last segment, return to the beginning and continue counting, skipping any segments that have already been used. After selecting the segment, resolve its 4 steps one by one in order. Step 1. Dice actions. The first step determines which actions the die perform during the round. If multiple symbols are shown under a given die type, each die of that type performs all of those actions in order from top to bottom. Dice of the specified type that are on the path resolve their action first, from the weakest, dice with the lowest values, to the strongest, dice with the highest values. Dice on the horizon activate afterward. Once all dice of a given type have resolved their actions, the next type resolves its actions following the same rules. If there are multiple dice of the same type and value on the path, the die closest to the kingdom gates resolve its action first. If both dice are at the same distance from the gates, the die located on the space with the lowest number activates first. Remember, each die resolves all of its actions immediately, for example movement and attack. Detailed description of basic dice actions. Movement. These pesky creatures are trying to break through the gate. Each time a die crosses the gate, you mark the damage indicated on its die flag. Each die crossing the gate always deals at least 1 damage. If the gate loses all of its durability points, you'll lose the game and the kingdom falls into chaos. A die's value determines how far it can move. Detailed information can be found on the die flag for that die type. The path is divided into segments, and each segment consists of 4 numbered spaces. Dice ending their movement in a segment occupy these spaces in order from the first to the fourth. If a die is supposed to end its movement on the segment where all spaces are already occupied, it stops on the previous segment. However, during movement, a die may jump over full segments if it has enough movement points to end its move on an empty space. Attack. Next to the movement value on the flag is the attack strength. The lower part of the flag shows information about the die's special ability or type of attack. Die's special abilities. Attacking the most developed tower. The die attacks the most developed tower within a range of 2 segments. The segment it occupies and 1 segment ahead. Armor piercing attack. The die attacks the tower it stops next to, ignoring armor, if any. Dual tower attack. The die attacks both towers in the segment where it stops. Mark damage received by crossing out heart symbols next to the attacked tower. If all heart symbols are crossed out, the tower is destroyed and can no longer be used. If all towers that a die could attack during its round are already destroyed, the die moves 1 segment forward instead of attacking. Healing. The healing symbol means that all dice of a given type currently in the game, both on the horizon and on the path, increase their value by 1. If a die already has the maximum value, which is 6, it instead moves 1 segment forward. Step 2. Player actions. The second step offers 2 sets of actions to choose from, the upper set and the lower set. You may choose only one of them, but you may resolve the actions it contains in any order. Detailed description of basic player actions. Building a barricade. You may place barricades on the path to slow down dice. Each barricade in a column subtracts 1 movement point from any die attempting to jump over it. If the die succeeds, it continues moving, provided it still has movement points remaining. If a die is supposed to attack while it is in the segment containing a barricade, the barricade belonging to that segment becomes the attack target. It does not matter whether the die is on a space 1, 2, 3 or 4. Barricades belonging to the segments are those located to its right. A barricade has 1 durability point. Placing a trap. You may also set traps. To do so, circle the trap symbol on a chosen space. That space must not currently be occupied by a die. When a die ends its movement on a trap, it takes 3 damage. If its next action is an attack, it will be weaker. Once a trap is triggered, mark its center to indicate that it has been used. If you deal damage to a die that is equal to or greater than its hit points value, place it in the graveyard without changing its value. Upgrading a tower's statistics. This action allows you to increase 1 selected statistics of any tower by 1 level. Each tower has 3 statistics. Red increases damage dealt. Green allows the tower to attack more dice on the selected segment. Blue increases attack range to additional segments. Increasing a tower's armor level. Armor protects your towers from attacks. Each shield symbol marked next to a tower reduces the damage it receives by 1. Armor applies separately to each attack. If a tower is attacked by 2 dice, the damage from each attack is reduced individually. Attacking with a tower of the indicated color. When you are instructed to activate a tower of a given color, you may choose any tower with the corresponding flag. Attacking with any tower. A multicolored flag allows you to choose any tower along the path and perform an attack with it. Tower attacks. First, choose the tower you want to activate. Then, choose a segment within its range. Range is measured in segments. The segment in which an active tower is located is at range 1. Adjacent segments to the left and right are at range 2, and so on. Then choose targets. By default, each tower may choose only 1 target, 1 die. After upgrading this statistic, all chosen targets must be located on the same segment. Finally, deal damage. Each die chosen as a target takes damage equal to the red statistic value of the activated tower. If during a single attack you deal damage to a die that is equal to or greater than its hit points value, place it in the graveyard without changing its value. If you deal less damage, subtract it from the die's value. The die remains on the path with reduced hit points. Tower Special Abilities. You gain access to a special ability once your tower has received the required amount of damage. When attacking with a tower, you may choose to use its special ability. To do so, mark an active charge inside the sign. During a single attack, you may activate a special ability only once, even if you have multiple active charges. If the effect affects multiple dice, the order in which you resolve it is your choice. If you are unsure, resolve the effect according to the numbers of the spaces on which the affected dice are located. Effects of Tower Special Abilities. Green. Add 2 damage to the attack against one targeted die. Yellow. Lose any number of durability points to deal 2 additional damage for each point lost. You may distribute that damage freely among all targeted dice. Blue. Deal damage to all dice on the segments preceding the segment on which the chosen target is located. The amount of damage dealt to dice along the way is equal to the red statistic. Red. Causes a defeated die to explode, dealing damage to all other dice on the same segment. The damage equals the value of the destroyed die. Step 3. Main Tower Attack. During this step, you perform an attack with your main tower. Step 4. Ruler Actions. During this step, you may repeatedly defeat dice, convert them into resources, spend those resources and attack again. This allows you to gain additional dice which you can then spend again, and so on. You may perform any number of actions as long as you have sufficient resources. Just remember to clear the graveyard at the end of the round. On the ruler sheet, you will find several actions you may perform. All defeated dice are placed in the graveyard. You must then decide whether to convert them into skulls or colored essence. If you choose to gain skulls, you receive a number of skulls equal to the value of the die. Circle the appropriate number of skull symbols, then return the die to the pool. Skulls are used to craft armor, traps, barricades, and even upgrade your towers. The price list can be found next to the skull treasury. Traps, barricades, and armor usually have fixed costs. However, tower upgrades cost an amount of skulls equal to the level of the upgrade you are purchasing. When you gain a skull marked with a flag symbol, circle that symbol at the top of the ruler sheet. In any round, including the current one, you may spend that symbol to activate any tower, including the main one. Instead of skulls, you may collect colored essence, which allows you to upgrade the main tower and obtain spell scrolls. To do so, discard any one die from the graveyard, then mark an empty die symbol of the same color. Type. The die's value does not matter. Upgrading the main tower. Once you gain 3 essence tokens of different colors, you may upgrade your main tower. This is the only way to upgrade the main tower. You cannot purchase its upgrades using skulls. Spell scrolls. When you obtain 4 essence tokens in the correct combination, you gain access to a spell scroll. To use it, cross out the scroll symbol in its center. Each spell scroll contains 2 spells. Whenever you use a scroll, you must choose one of them. Spells shown in the upper part of the scroll may be cast on any target at any moment during the ruler action step. The spells shown in the lower part of the scroll may be used during the activation of any tower. It may also be cast during step 2. Spell descriptions available in the demo version. Upper. Add a shield to any tower. Lower. During a tower attack, deal damage to all dice and towers in the targeted segment. The damage equals the red statistic of activated tower. Final notes. If a situation ever arises in which a die can attack more than one tower, it always targets the tower closest to the die. This means, first a tower in the same segment as the die. If there are still few towers, the closer one is the tower adjacent to the die. upper or lower. The same rule applies to towers located outside the dice segments, left or right. Changes in the demo version. First, the game lasts 6 rounds instead of 9. Second, on the round segments, in the lower part of the player actions, there are 2 flags instead of 1. This means you may activate one of these 2. If you have any questions, feedback, ideas, or would like to share your opinion, the best way to do it would be through our BGG page. The Kickstarter campaign launches on February 24th, so follow now to be notified about the launch and vote on the new content we are going to add.